Hey folks, hope you're doing good today. Come in and grab yourself a piece of hedgehog cake. It's homemade, as you can see. But anyway, we've been going a year today, 365 days since we started the show. We've done a show nearly every single day of those years. I think we skipped about 3 days and that was about it. But we made up for it with a bunch of extra videos. We actually uploaded 574 videos in the last year. That's pretty crazy, actually. But I've enjoyed making every single one of them. And as the time's gone by, man, I just enjoyed making this show even more and more, checking out new bands, checking out new sounds, and it's really got to the point now where I don't really want to hear 2 songs by the same band in a row. I want to hear different bands every single time. It's really changed the way I listen to music and check out music. I just love watching music videos nowadays. I've always loved music videos. I'm of the MTV generation and always used to just watch MTV all day. That was when they actually played music videos. So yeah, I just love checking out bands now, checking out their music videos, seeing all their gear and all that stuff, and hearing different bands and different sounds. I don't want to really listen to a whole album nowadays. I find myself wanting to hear different bands and different sounds. So if I'm listening to, say I want to listen to some hardcore, I don't want to just listen to an hour of the same band playing hardcore tracks. I want to listen to an hour of maybe 10 different bands, all playing hardcore, but all with their own spin and their own sound and all of that. I just love it. Really, really great. So yeah, what I want to do, I've got a little list here of things I want to just quickly talk about. And someone asked me, why is it I even started doing this channel in the first place? And it was partly because of lockdown, and we were all locked in our houses at this time last year. Most of us still are locked in our houses. Here in Portugal, it's a tighter lockdown now than at this time last year. So yeah, we're all still in our houses and all the rest of it. And I've been thinking about doing something like this for a while. I got into watching hip-hop guys checking out metal videos. You've probably seen them on YouTube as well. And these were guys who totally didn't have a clue about metal, never really listened to it at all, really into hip-hop, but they were trying to expand their musical horizons and check out heavy bands and stuff like this. And I really enjoyed watching those guys do it because they had a real kind of visceral reaction to the music. It was stuff they'd never heard before. But the bands they were checking out were bands that we're kind of on the softer end of the scale of the metal scene, Metallica and Megadeth and all those kind of starter bands. And I just thought, man, I wish I could sit down with these guys and really show them a bunch of really great metal bands and heavy bands and kind of blow their mind with what's out there. And it was that kind of thinking that got me thinking, man, these guys are checking out cool bands, but they're not checking out the cool bands. So I wanted to start a channel checking out all the bands that I thought were the coolest bands and just kind of getting them on people's radars and stuff like that. But I must admit, a lot of those bands are kind of 15, 20 years old now because I hadn't been keeping up with the scene. So what I did decide to do is, man, I'm in my own band. We paid for a review once. We paid $50 for a review and it was really just... yeah, these guys are cool. And one of the statements was, if you're going to make music like this, you've got to make it good. And we're like, man, that's not really a great review. So what I thought I wanted to do is check out unsigned and underground bands that don't normally get talked about or have to pay someone to make up some kind of crappy copy-paste bog standard review. And I thought, man, I'll give them a spin on my show and talk about them and just, talk about them as the music hits my ear, give them an honest review, but mainly talk about the positive things that I like. I'm not here to do a critical review. I'm not here to knock people down. I see absolutely no kind of upside in being overly critical on underground or unsigned or bedroom bands. I just can't really see the point in that. What I'm here to do is tell you the things that you're doing right, tell you the things that I enjoy about your music, and then you can build on those kind of things. There's no point me sitting here and saying, this is crap, that sounds amateur, whatever, because we all know that anyway. We're all in the amateur boat. We're not professional musicians and all of that stuff, or most of us aren't anyway. So I'm here to encourage those bands, tell them the things they're doing right, tell them the things that I enjoy and that I like about their music, and that will give them encouragement to go off and do more of that stuff, hopefully, and realize, the things that I didn't mention were maybe the things that they need to work on as well. So yeah, I'm not here to knock bands and crush them down. And I just wanted to give all the bands that are on this channel a real kind of boost and let people see that people enjoy their music. People are even checking out their music. Because when you make music, one of the cool things to know is that other people are listening to it and enjoying it. It just feels good that you've spread that out into the world and given people, a piece of enjoyment, even if it's just for a few minutes. A lot of the bands on the channel, I wouldn't check out again. They're not bands that I'm into now or kind of really want to follow, but I enjoyed checking their music out for the few minutes that we did. And I wouldn't give that time up to anything else. I think it's great. I'll give you a few minutes of my time to check out your music, no problem. So in the last year, by checking out all these bands, we've probably checked out, well over 1,500 bands. We've done over 500 vids. We've checked out at least 3 bands in most of those vids. And in other vids, we've checked out a lot more than that. So yeah, I'm going to say we've checked out at least 1,500 bands, which is a hell of a lot of bands. But in that time, we've done pretty well. I'll just get rid of the cake. If you've missed a grab a piece of cake, that's too late. We're going to check out the numbers, and as you can see here, we're doing pretty well. And what's funny as well is I started out doing this on YouTube, and I really only thought it was going to be a YouTube channel. I was trying to build up the numbers, and I was thinking, man, we've got to get the numbers and stuff like that before the channel is going to get anywhere. But then I realized actually, Facebook's for all the hate that it gets, and don't get me wrong, the politics side of Facebook is absolutely toxic waste. But in terms of music and bands and things like that, it's really MySpace 2.0 in my opinion. It's great. All the bands are on Facebook. You can link them with their posts. You can share the posts and everything else. And it's really a good way to kind of build a music community. So for all the hate Facebook gets in terms of their music side, I really think they do a great job, and it's a great way to kind of link up with other bands and share stuff and stuff like that. So we got on Facebook and the numbers started growing on there. Then I realized Instagram's actually pretty good for that stuff as well. So we got on Instagram as well, a bit later on in the day. But as you can see, our numbers have been rising. But the interesting thing now is I started out on YouTube, and actually now YouTube is the least popular format or platform to watch my videos on, because we share it on Facebook and Instagram now, and you can just click the video in the feed. You don't have to leave Facebook or whatever to go onto a different site. And a lot of people are watching on mobile nowadays, where that's kind of an issue. You get a lot more views putting your video embedding it in Facebook or in Instagram. So yeah, that would be a little tip for kind of the bands as well. Don't just put it on YouTube, put it on all the social medias that you can upload a video to, because people are lazy, I get it, and they just want to take the easiest route to watching whatever content it is. And whatever barriers there are, even if it's just clicking over to a different site, it will lose your views and stuff like that. So it's interesting now how Facebook and Instagram are really the primary platforms to check out the show on. That's where most people check out the show, and then we've still got some people watching on YouTube as well. But as you can see, considering we started the YouTube channel way before we started Facebook or even Instagram, it's actually lagging behind in terms of the numbers. So if you're following on Facebook or Instagram and you haven't subscribed on YouTube, consider doing that, because we do still want to get those numbers up as high as we can. But as you can see here, we got pretty decent numbers, 3,000 and 1,500 and 1,700 on there. So there's obviously some overlap in between those, but I think we're reaching around 5,000 people got on board the show now. Pretty dope. I'm very, very pleased with that. Not bad for a year, considering we started from scratch. I'm doing it absolutely all myself. I've got no idea what I'm doing. I've never run a channel like this before. I'm rubbish at promoting myself and things like that. It's just not really how my brain works. So yeah, I think considering all of those things, we're actually doing pretty well, that we started from scratch. And hopefully in the next year, now we've got a kind of platform and a foundation to build off of. Hopefully these numbers will start to snowball a bit, because I do really want to try and get as many people on board as possible. The way I look at this show is, we're checking out bands every single day, but the show's not about me. I don't talk about my life or it's not a vlog or any of that kind of stuff. I'm just here as a kind of middleman to press play on the videos and then talk about them a bit afterwards. But the real kind of thrust of the show nowadays, as far as I'm concerned, is bringing you content to check out bands. So each day, if you're the kind of person that likes to check out new bands, there's a video for you there where you can spin one or two or three bands and just see what you think. You don't have to love them. They don't have to be your favorite band that you've ever heard. That's not really the vibe of it. It's just, do you like checking out new bands and new music every day, heavy bands? If you do, here's a video for you every day while you're sat on the toilet or watching or eating your meal or something like that, that you can just watch 15, 20 minutes of checking out bands and hearing some guy talk about them and what he liked about the music. That's the thrust of the show now. So that's where we're going with it. And in that time as well, and checking out all those bands and everything, we've really covered every heavy genre that there is going, from really kind of soft rock stuff and post-rock atmospheric stuff all the way through to the heaviest deathcore, grindcore, chaotic hardcore, and really, as heavy as it can possibly go. We're always in the search for the heaviest band on the planet. So yeah, we love that as well. But one thing that doing this show is kind of made me do is check out genres that I wouldn't normally check out, stuff like rock, stuff like proggy stuff and power metal and those kind of vibes. Those aren't really genres that I would normally spend a lot of time checking out, but we've done it via the show, and I'll tell you what, it's broadening my horizons as well. Hopefully it's broadening yours if you're watching, a lot of the shows, because we're checking out so many different styles of music, so many different types of sounds and energies within the heavy scene, because there's so many to go, we're really getting an eclectic smorgasbord of different styles and sounds to check out. And man, it's broadening my horizon. Rock music is something I wouldn't have really listened to this time last year. I wouldn't have checked out rock bands or gone out of my way to listen to them. But man, rock music is really kind of moving up my list of favorite genres nowadays, because I think it just actually sounds really, really great. They've got great mixes. You can always hear the bass in the mix as well, which is something I love. But yeah, modern rock music is doing all right. I'm really quite enjoying it. And as the time goes on and as we check out more and more rock bands, I'm just enjoying it more and more. So that's been very cool. What we did also start doing as well is, because the free queue got way too long, it started off where I was having to make Reddit posts to try and find unsigned bands and, kind of say, do you want to be on this show and all this and that. And I was struggling to try and get bands on initially. So I was checking out bigger bands and stuff like that as well, or the bands that I like. But as time went by, we got more and more submissions coming through the door to the point where I had to make a playlist, and there was a long ass queue, and that queue is now over 250 bands long, which represents about 15-16 weeks of waiting time, and that's doing a show every day with 3 bands a day. So the free queue got too long, and what I wanted to do is set up a thing where people can skip the queue if they want to do that, or they can get an exclusive video if they want to do that. And there's just a small kind of monetary fee behind that, just because it kind of legitimizes the show a bit more, and turns it into kind of more of an established, not a business, but, just an established thing, where it feels more kind of legitimate than just, whatever, doing my thing. And that's been going great. And since we started that, I don't know how long we've been doing that, not too long, probably 3 or 4 months. We've already had 66 paid submissions, which is absolutely amazing. I can't believe how well that's gone. And it keeps going well. So absolutely mega appreciative to all of the bands that have dipped into their pocket to be on the show as well, because you can be on for free. But a lot of the bands, when they've contacted me as well, they've said, this isn't just because we want to skip the queue. We want to support the show. We like what you're doing. And we want to, kind of give you a bit of a pat on the back with it. So that's been dope as well. I mean, I must admit, every single band that has been on the show kind of 99% of the bands that have been on the show have shown absolute mega appreciation for being on the show. They've loved it. They've sent me a message saying, man, I really enjoyed being on the show and hearing how you talk about our bands, seeing you enjoy our band and the faces that you pull and stuff when that came in and this and that. And it's just, I love it. We've had no trolls. We've had no negative comments. I think I've literally had 3 negative comments, and they weren't even that bad. And when you consider, we're on the internet, and the trolls and the toxicity that can be on the internet, man, we're just doing so great with the community and the people that get on board with this show, because they're all just positive heads and giving out positive vibes and kind of appreciative of what's going on here. The good vibes from this show are just absolutely pouring out. I love it. I love it. I love it. And there's a few people that are really on board with the show, that like all the posts, that go into all the posts and make a comment and things like that. And those are the people I really want to kind of say thanks to. I'm not going to list out a bunch of names because I'll forget some people, and I don't want to do that, but you know who you are. If you've been following the show, if you've been liking the posts, I've probably messaged you in the meantime to say, hey, thanks for sticking with the show and showing support and things like that, because I really try and appreciate the people that do that. And one thing I would say to people who watch the show, and just anyone in general, one thing I've been doing since I started this show is making a comment on every video that we check out, making a positive comment saying that I enjoyed the track, and other tracks that haven't been on the show but I've checked out as well. I've been making an effort to say, yo, this is great, I've enjoyed it, or it's a cool track, or I like the sound, I like the energy, something like that. And I must say, if that's something you aren't doing, think about doing it, because it really does start to pay back in dividends. You get positive comments back, and you just start to spread out more positivity into the world. And I think that's something we can definitely do more of, particularly at the moment as well. But yeah, if you're someone that checks out a lot of videos or stuff on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, whatever it is, but you normally just check it out and think, yeah, that was cool, but move on. Just think about dropping a like or a comment saying, yeah, that was cool, because it really does start to spread a good community and good vibes around a community. I think it's a great thing. So really thanks and appreciation to all the people who've stuck with the show. There's guys that have stuck with the show since really the first couple of months that we started, and they're still on board. They're still liking the post, sharing the post. You know who you are if you've done that. So yeah, absolutely dope. I really, really appreciate the people who make the effort to make a comment or like the post, even if they don't even watch the video. I don't expect everyone to watch every single video, but if you're showing support and kind of on board with what we're doing here, great, love it. Now in that time, we've checked out loads and loads of bands, and I've got on board with so many bands in the last year. There's probably about 50 to 100 bands that I really, really love now, and I'm a fan of, and we've checked out. And a lot of those bands have sent over free stuff as well, or I've purchased one of their t-shirts or merchandise because I just wanted to get on board and support them as well. What goes around comes around as far as I'm concerned. So I'll just show you this. This is the stack of t-shirts from all the bands that have either sent something in or that I've bought their t-shirt. There's loads of great bands in here. So yeah, I'm not short of any new clothes and t-shirts to wear through the summer, and you'll see that on the show as well. But also what we did, as you can see, is launched our own t-shirt as well. Took ages to get here in the post, but man, I'm pleased with it in the end. It's great quality cotton. It's a cool quality print as well. I'll be doing some more designs as the year goes on and try and get some cool designs that aren't just a logo as well. But we've had people buying the shirts. We did a competition where we gave away a shirt, and we'll be doing that more as well in the future. So yeah, if you want to get on board with the merchandise side of things, the shirts are as cheap as they can possibly go, and they're very, very good quality. So that's cool as well. So we've been upgrading as we're going along. We've upgraded the stream as well. I'll get this off because you're probably fed up of looking at that. But yeah, we've upgraded the stream. We've upgraded the background with the posters and bring in the guitars and stuff like that. We've upgraded the camera quality and all the different stuff that we brought on the screen. We brought in the stuff on here. Let me just get this off the screen. But yeah, we brought in all the extra stuff in terms of bringing on the stereo wave and the waveform as well. Keep forgetting to turn off the You've Got Mail thing. But yeah, we've had loads of upgrades in terms of the visual quality as well, and I'm still trying to do that, and I'll keep it fresh every few months or so. I'll change the font or something like that to make it look a bit cooler. But I'm happy with the way the screen looks. I think that we've got extra information on the screen in terms of the sound, which is interesting. I've learned a lot from looking at the stereoscope as to how different mixes are stereoed and how the different kind of stereo, how it affects your ears and comes like that. That's really helped me as well, so I'm hoping it's helping you guys. But yeah, I think we're doing a great job in terms of checking out loads of great bands and bringing you some every day to check out, as I say, whether you're sat on the toilet or eating your meal or what. But let me see, I've got a list here that I'm trying to go down. Now, someone did ask me, what's one of the things that surprised you about doing the show, or kind of things that you didn't think that you were going to be into, bands that you didn't think that you'd be into? And one thing I'll say is rock music. Rock music, as I said before, I think is doing great. And checking out rock music on the show has really kind of opened my eyes to how good it sounds. Grungy stuff, alt rock, rock with attitude that makes you curl your top lip. All of that stuff I've really, really enjoyed this year. So yeah, doing the show has opened my eyes to new styles of music. And if it's opened my eyes, I think, well, it's probably opened someone else's eyes as well, because I can't be the only one. So in terms of that, yeah, I think by checking out a bunch of different styles of heavy music, you might not be into every single style in every single day, but if you do check out the vid of stuff that you might not be into or might not normally think you'd be into, you might catch yourself off guard and surprise yourself and think, actually, hang on, this sounds all right, I'm enjoying it. And as I say, the bands that I bring you on the show don't have to be the best band that you've ever heard. We're not necessarily looking for the kind of, undiscovered diamonds that are going to be the next big breakthrough band or anything like that. This is the underground, and if you're into underground music, you'll know that underground music comes a bit rough around the edges, but that's one of the great things about it. It's not too polished. It's not been, polished within an inch of its life, and you get a bit of rawness in there. And it's that rawness that I really enjoy, because it makes each band sound a bit different. It makes each band sound a bit unique, a bit personalized, and not like they've all gone through a professional studio and had all the kind of normal moves that are made within a studio to bring the music through. You get kind of dirty, heavy mixes. You get mixes where things haven't quite gone right, but because of that, it actually sounds very cool. You get out the ordinary guitar tones and vocals and things like that, which wouldn't break through to the mainstream because they're just unusual, and people can't really usually handle unusual stuff. But for someone like me who likes checking out unusual bands, man, it's great. Absolutely love it. So yeah, every single day when I get up, I'm pumped up to do the show. I enjoy doing it. It's never felt like a chore or anything like that. So yeah, we're just going to keep going on. I've got no intentions to change the show or suddenly go off in a different direction, or only start checking out mainstream bands and things like that for the views. That's not what we're about here, and I don't think we'll ever be about that. What we're doing here is just checking out underground bands and talking about bands that wouldn't normally get talked about. If they're being talked about other places, you probably won't see them on this show because they're already being talked about over there. So if you want to hear them talked about, go over there. The bands that you're going to check out on this show are going to be bands with, 5 or 6 or 20 subscribers, but are actually really, really great for what they're doing. Now, they might not be the best band in the world, they might not be the most professional band in the world, but for the few minutes that you're going to check them out, yeah, great job. And just keep going with it, and I really like that because we've been going a year now and we've had some bands on a few times, we've seen some bands already progress with their sound, with their mixes and things like that. And it's great for me to see a band that kind of had a lot of things that they could improve, starting to improve them. And then the next time we see them on the show, the thing that you mentioned last time that could be a bit better has been done and fixed, and they've kind of took it on board, and they've stepped up each time. So yeah, we've been doing that with a bunch of bands. Very, very cool. So to round up, I'm just going to say, man, I absolutely love making this show. I appreciate every single person that's on board. And if you're the type of person that likes and comments and things like that, man, you're really doing a great job, and keep up the good work. So there you go. That'll be a year. Hopefully we'll keep going for another year. I've got no intentions to stop. Trev's joined us for a moment here. So yeah, that's going to be it today, guys. We're not going to check out any new bands. I just thought I'd talk about the show and basically say thanks to all the people that have been on board and getting on board and liking and sharing the posts and all that stuff, because that's how this thing's going on. That's how we're building this community. So keep it going. Very, very nice. We'll see you around, guys. Have a good weekend. Bye.